Physical life isn't the only thing that can be proven is really real. Most of reality is not actually physical. As a matter of fact, the things we can touch aren't even solid like they feel. They're how energy looks in slow motion, maybe. Every single tradition around the planet has a story about how the universe was created by sound. Sound is how the non-physical becomes physical. It's actually still commonly taught that nothing travels faster than the speed of light, but that's been disproven. Sound certainly does. It does appear to move only about 767 miles an hour at sea level when it's traveling through physical matter. But what we call the visible light spectrum is really just the 55th octave of sound, and it does literally make all physical things possible. I mean, we've got great technology at this point. We've got it all mapped out, right? We know exactly how fast the different elements vibrate. It's really amazingly specific. Sound even lets you do impossible things like levitating physical objects or licking your own elbow. This sort of thing is way more commonly known than you'd expect. Fire extinguishers originally used low-frequency sound waves so that flames can't access oxygen in the air. Not only are they non-toxic, unlike the modern chemical ones, they work way better. Dentists also confirm ionic toothbrushes have finally done what the best toothbrushing could never even dream of. Sound actually prevents plaque from sticking. You can use sound to boil water or to fry an egg on your lap, even though nothing else gets hot. Tesla himself used the ever-present sound of the earth to generate harmonic-free energy for all your tools and toys. And that was back in the days when when the Schumann stayed steady at 7.83 hertz. Today, I think it was blasting over 100. Nowadays, everyone is dabbling, and it's not just, destitute people in third world countries that come up with brilliance. It's ordinary garden variety kid experiments at this point. I mean, a lot of this stuff, I'll grant you, it still looks pretty techy. It looks like it's stuff for geeks, doesn't it? The truth is, inventing free energy devices has never been too hard. Even this untrained third world 5-year-old figured one out. It just hasn't been allowed, so we would have to rely on the industries that are finally choking themselves out. Noise isn't really a matter of personal opinion either. We just didn't understand our objections very well. Natural frequencies can be very irritating, but that only happens when there's blocks in our energy system. So listening to them actually heals us. They become soothing. We also react to artificial or incomplete electrical fields. They're as damaging as the harmonic ones are healing. Stop and think about what that means for the building you live in. Even all the supposedly off-grid new technology is still using artificial technology. Everything that comes with a big price tag has some serious handicaps. Good science is not the same thing as high technology. High technology has always been the most limited. Very clever at times, sure, but still always dumb. Endless enforcement is unsustainable, and eventually high maintenance just chokes itself out. The best science lets nature multitask like nobody's business. It does all the same stuff, but it does it better. It does it naturally, so you don't have to do any work. It does it harmonically, so everything heals instead of harms, and everything wants to cooperate instead of argue. And it doesn't cost a dime. So exactly how does sound create? Well, whether natural or artificial, sound creates motion, which creates magnetism, which allows energy to form shapes. Magnetism is what holds things together. It's what creates gravity, and the bigger an object is, the bigger its magnetic gravity is. You can even see the shapes that sound builds by putting a bit of sand on a flat surface that vibrates. Different frequencies will form different shapes. The donut shape of a balanced magnetic field creates round energy spheres, which are actually the building blocks of all the shapes with sides. The spheres make up the pyramids, which make up the cubes, and everything bigger. Different frequencies line matter up differently, from very simple basic patterns that still look incredible in big scales, don't they? To patterns that are incredibly complex, like those exotic hot spring travertine terraces, or just an ordinary tree. And when this magnetic motion creates light, we can actually see the shapes that sound creates. When what we call science first set out to investigate the world, we discovered patterns in the smallest bits of physical stuff, and we call that collection the periodic table of elements. There's a reason for the funky name. We organize this table of stuff by the different kinds of action that each element demonstrates. However, when we look at all those bits with even bigger microscopes, everything turns out to be made of nothing, which follow opposite laws of action. Quantum science describes what ancients called divine law. Everything basically boils down to specks of energy just zooming around doing stuff, experiencing things. Maybe that's the best definition of consciousness. We understand better every day how invisible forces create what used to be called either magic or miracles. We were taught to oppose nature, that science could fix our problems by correcting nature. The political powers of the day saw no reason to protect nature from industry. It was thought that natural law was, the stuff that was vicious and bitter and cruel. Competition is the law of the jungle, right? But civilized people cooperate. If you're not willing to use rules, well, then you're against everyone, aren't you? As if we're smarter than a system billions of years old. Civilizations rise and fall, but life is self-sustaining. We don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. We were told if even smart people with money can't heal conditions that they were born with, well, then nobody can, right? Yet everyone does. I bet I could show you that you already have in ways you don't even realize. In a universe of infinite possibility, belief experiences whatever it chooses. But the system itself is perfect. What is self-sustaining goes on, and what isn't dies, so suffering ends. The only true handicap anyone has is believing something is impossible. So how are we going to use all this? Well, here's a little kindergarten help to make sure you get the most out of life and don't just dump a plate of cake on the floor, right? Let's step outside the box. It's time to play like a baby does. They feel their way. They don't make plans and give instructions. Healing isn't just the end of suffering. It isn't even work. And that is exactly why it does work. So browse the healing soundtracks in our ReLAXx library on YouTube before you check out the different posts that look at things like which organs are most affected by what kind of music. There is no second chance for first impressions. And don't forget to use headphones for binaural beats. Although most do love them either way, When sound mixes in the air instead of inside your head, the third beat produced by the two different tones is something other than the intended medicine. If something feels uncomfortable at first, wait a minute to see if that's maybe exactly what you need most. It's a bit strange. You'll be attracted to things you don't really like, but somehow it feels better to listen to them anyway. A lot like good crying. That's real healing happening. If it stays stressful, though, it doesn't really become compelling somehow. Either you're not ready for that yet, or it's corrupted somehow. It's incomplete music. Animals do not need a PhD to sense what's good or bad, and neither do you. It's time to stop using instructions to learn. No matter how long it takes to understand your inner voices without confusion, they are still going to be your perfect guide to your own autocorrect system. So wander the garden. Turn even chores into zen. Work magic on sensitive kids and animals. Supercharge sleep. It's already repair time. I mean, it sounds nice, but how powerful could these really be, right? Well, the point of a good library is to sort out the good stuff. For example, the heart-mind coherence grid, which is actually in the background on all the ReLAXx videos it's playing right now, was actually originally a military application. When I originally tested it as a 50-year-old American woman who'd had kids, the incontinence that even 2 years of kidney cleaning, and I've been at the natural game for a long time, they had only halfway resolved yet, and they just abruptly disappeared for good. Let the universe amaze you. So, what links do we have in this video? Well, the ReLAXx playlist, of course, collects all of our favorite pieces of music. Ditch all the $20 words without insulting your intelligence or oversimplifying. Anyone can remember how to relax. In this video, the following are links for some top-shelf producers, not just individual soundtracks. It's actually pretty hard to use search engines well, unless you know what the pitfalls are before you start browsing. Otherwise, the tracking systems just target junk because it's already primed and looking for you. So get started right by feeding the algorithms some quality starters. There's a link to this page in the video comments. I'm going to let you guys explore that stuff on your own. There's some new stuff coming out too that's... When I first started seeing the stuff that was blending in human voices, you look at the pictures on the screen and you really start wondering about where this stuff is coming from. I probably sound old and biased. That's because I am. But you know what? I have to also admit that was the very first time in my life I had heard music like what I hear in my head in anything I've ever found. I absolutely love this stuff. So tell me what you think. As far as how we can help you with the music stuff, let us diagnose which frequencies would help you most. That way we can build you a custom treatment video with our own tuning forks and other gadgets, with or without perfectly pitched voices. Namaste, my angel. I honor the divine within you.